Pump it up, pump it up.
Trae.
Come on, come on.
With Trae.
Pump it up, pump it up.
It's the day with
This is the day to gain inspiration, to make a positive change in the nation. We're inviting you to partake in conversation, to raise your vibration. It's the day that we will all celebrate all of our peace that make this thing elevate. Watch the negative fade away, cause it's the day with Trae.
All right, welcome to the day with Trae. I'm your guest host, the Big O, Omari Salisbury. I'm with you all week this week and all next week as Trae Holiday has a well-deserved break. Man, Trae Holiday worked hard, man. So wherever you at, Trae, I hope that you're taking some time, especially today on Veterans Day. And speaking of that, big shout out to all the veterans out there. You know what I'm saying? All gave some, but some gave all. So, you know what I'm saying? We see you. Very special, the day with Trae today. I've got my buddy, Katie Hall here. And Katie just published a brand new book. She's getting ready to pop it off. You'll probably see her on the news everywhere. You know what I'm saying? The name of the book is Sacred Pause. You gotta double check there. Katie, you slapped me on the head if I ain't get it right. Sacred Pause. She's going to be talking about that. Before we get there, though, yo, check me out. You know what I'm saying? This is, I got to give a big shout out to my man Aura from Aramanda in Lagos, Nigeria. I was there in December for Rhythm Unplugged for the 20-year anniversary. Aura came to my hotel room. Man, he went, he sized me up. He had the tailors working all night, you know, you feel me? And made this dope tunic for me, right? And so like Aura, man, he's leading like the continent in luxury fashion coming out the continent of Africa. His joints is moving like all over the world, you feel me? Me, Gil wrote a dope article about him as well. I'm gonna put the links there. So Aura, you see what I'm saying? I'm out here. He's always like, yo, man, what's up? When you gonna be rocking my joint? And so I'm here, we representing, man. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you. But today,
I might want one.
Yeah, oh yeah, man, let's just go on wide. You see what I'm saying? We got a real relaxed style here today. She done jumped in anyway. So, Katie Hall, welcome to the day with Trae.
Thank you so much, Omari. I appreciate you. Sorry, I didn't know. I was like, I want the outfit too. It looks good.
Yeah, I mean, that just means that I got some good game going over here. I talk to you, you talk back. You know, that's all that is right there. A more formal introduction. Very happy to welcome author, filmmaker, man, publicist, man, crisis manager, mom, and some of everything else. Katie Hall, welcome. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Thank you. I appreciate you, Omari. I really do.
Yeah, no, it's good to have you here. For you guys that follow on me on social media, you know, I don't really post a lot. And so if you get a post up there, it's a real big deal. But one of my most recent posts where we were hanging out at M5. And one thing that I forgot to mention in your title is also Seattle Film Commissioner. And so it was Katie's night there at the commission. And Katie invited me to come and talk. And that was one of my first times actually leaving the house since my surgery. And man, that was actually really, really dope, first of all. And thank you again in a public capacity for inviting me there. But before we get into the book, maybe you can talk about like your role at the Seattle Film Commission. What made you even want to do it? And what do you do over there?
Right? I know. I'm trying to ask the same question. No, I'm joking. But thank you so much for coming as well. Like I told them, I said, I'm not having a conversation about film or journalism unless Converge and Omari's a part of it, right? And that's what I told him from the very beginning. So I knew that this would be coming up. I wasn't sure when it would come up, and I'm very excited. I'm Film Commissioner number 5. I focus in with film educators, film schools, and the young people. You know, same thing I do with Katie Hall Foundation, making sure that the young people get a chance. And Omari, the thing that you and I talk about a lot is ensuring that there is real pay equity, right, for filmmakers.
Yeah, pay the fee, man. Pay the fee.
It pays to you have to pay to play. You know what I mean? And that's I'm always serious about that. And I feel like the work that you do and the work that Converge do, we wanted people to pay more. Right? Because at the end of the day, it's not easy to do what you're doing every single day and every single week, right? And then even nationally. So the reason why I became a film commissioner is because I'm always advocating. And so I'm really looking for this next 10 to 20 years to be all about film journalism, and communications. And so all other boards that has nothing to do with film or journalism, I dropped off of them.
Yeah, I feel that because, you know, especially coming out of the protests, and I'm thankful, by the way, for every board or every opportunity that I've had. So I don't say this in a bad way, but there was a lot of things that I was attaching myself to that weren't in line with the core mission of Converge. They all do excellent work in their own path, but I realized that being a small business, and, you know, a lot of times if it's one person on things, that all my energy was going in supporting things that didn't actually directly pour back into our mission. So that's good that you came, you know, you're like, hey man, I'm laser focused.
Absolutely. Because like you said, you know, a lot of times people would think that maybe I'm not intelligent because I do so many different things. It has nothing to do with that. I'm multipotent. If I do less, I would probably be depressed. You know what I mean? Like, truly. And so this year, you know, after you called me the day my mom actually passed, and I know we'll get to that later, but after that, I made a point of saying anything and everything I do is about telling the truth, and it's about storytelling, because that's what I've been doing since I've been 11.
You know, I think we're going to go time limit on this one, but it's fine. We'll figure it out.
Yep.
We've been trying to keep these condensed.
Sorry.
But no. But actually, you just hit on something, because my dad, I mean, we made a big shift here in Converge. You know, what's crazy is that in June 3rd of 2022 was the very last episode of the Morning Update show. And then June 4th is when we won an Emmy, the Governor's Award, the highest honor from our region, from the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences. And when I was saying I didn't want to do the Morning Update show anymore, and I just wanted to focus on telling stories, my dad pulled me to the side. He said, son, don't just tell stories, you tell better stories and make the uplift real. And like, those words of support right there of like, yeah, I want to do things better and focus on it. And people have seen that in the last 2 years here in Conversion. You've seen that in Back to Base, our films, our documentaries, and everything. That focus is important.
It really is. And you know, Omari, I'll try to condense my responses. I'm sorry.
No, you don't.
I'm excited
to talk
with you.
That's what I said. We're gonna don't worry about it.
I'm just really excited to talk with you. But Omari, I agree with you 100%, because I could think of, like, beforehand, I would just like be doing work because people, oh, you're great at this. I need you to do this for me. But it's like, was I really happy with it? And the best thing that ever happened to me is when I quit KCLS, and I could talk about it. You know, it's been over a year, so there's no gag order in the state of Washington. But when I quit KCLS, I told myself, Keela, you got to 100% go back into journalism. You almost been out of college for 20 years. That was the happiest I ever seen my mom when she saw that show come out. She was like, you finally went back. You did it. I'm happy you did it. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Stop going back to work. This is what you're supposed to be doing. And knowing that she, you know, I didn't know she was going to pass the end of that year. But I'm so grateful that I did it, because if I didn't, she would have never had the opportunity that you and your father had.
Right. No, it's real deal. And also, before we get to the book, you had mentioned something here briefly. You said the Katie Hall Foundation, and that was something that I didn't mention in my long and glorious introduction of you with all these titles, man. Please tell everybody about the Katie Hall Foundation and the work you do there. You
know, Omari, I think I kind of met you through the Katie Hall Foundation. And we met through Sean Kemp stuff, but Katie Hall Foundation is a nonprofit. We are about to be 11 years old. Wow. We've been focusing on girls in film. We've been doing film with college students since 2014, before we even became a nonprofit. And that was the one part that I was focused on, but all the other stuff was just too much. And so with the foundation, we have touched over 1,000 girls in the state of Washington. You know what I mean? I'm from Detroit, but my babies are here and my program's here. So we touch over 1,000 girls in our program in 10 years. Over 100 college students have graduated out of our programs. They're out there on Wall Street now. I even got a doctor out there. I'm like, yo, what's up? You know what I mean? I have filmmakers. I have students in LA. I have them everywhere. And that's what the foundation does. But to your point of focus, I actually have decided to trim all of our programming down to just film and journalism communications. That's it. Because at the end of the day, I don't care if you 8 or I don't care if you 80. You need to learn how to tell better stories.
Yeah, well, I mean, even in a different business, there's most restaurants, the first thing they do if you bring in a consultant, they'll be like, listen, man, we need to work on this menu. You got too many items here. You need to condense it here. You know what I'm saying? Get more out of this and out of that and everything else. And that is, you know, a challenge my whole life. is like, man, I just be honest, I'm just good at hella stuff.
You're multipotent.
Yeah, and
It's a real
it's like,
thing.
but also, but that's the thing that's kept me relevant and working all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because I know how to do so many different things. I've lived and worked in 8 countries, 9. You know what I'm saying? Across the Middle East, across Africa, and Europe, because I could do so many things. But it's also like, dang, if I could only focus on one thing, I'd be filthy.
I'm trying to be filthy in 2026. I want to be straight up filthy, like for real. Because at this point, the kid got an award. You know, the 10-year-old has an award out of New York for filmmaking. I'm like, hold on now. I just got nominations. Now my 10-year-old rolling up on me like that. So, you know, I need some hardware in the next year or so. And she focuses, though. You know what I mean? She don't care. She focuses on that one thing, and she knocked out a cartoon and got an award out of New York. And, you know, so I want to be like that.
Okay, that's you know, my son's bringing pressure. He done opened up a film business in
I
Chicago.
saw. Congratulations.
He got a studio. He be sending me his updates. I be like, damn, I'm gonna have to update our studio.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
But isn't that the point, though? You know what I'm saying? Because it's your offspring.
Is. Man, I mean, it's so dope with O, and man, because it's like my dad popped it off, right, with Salisbury Photography, right, and then we were carrying on his legacy here with Converge Media, and Little O grew up in this company, and then he went off to college, and now the name of his company is Vista, you know, and so it's like, it's really dope. And, you know, even before his grandfather, my father, passed away, him, you know, I mean, my dad was just so proud to just visually see this line, you know, and so it's really, really cool. Speaking of that, speaking of parents who are dearly departed and things like that, man, let's talk about your book, Sacred Pause. You can tell us what's it all about.
And I appreciate you, Omari, because when you read the book, you was like, Katie, come on now, man. You was like, where's the good news? Which I love.
I'll be looking for it.
You said I'm looking for it still. You know, honestly, Sacred Pause for me, it was mandatory, right? Like, because much like you, after my mom passed, I didn't think I could take a break, so I went right back to work, right? I literally flew back in on a Friday night, and on Saturday we were releasing a film for Kendrick Glover, right? We released his film as soon as I came back. And one of the things that I realized, you know, in releasing that film is you putting everybody in front of you, me. I'm putting everybody in front of me. And so when I took time off, it started with 30 days and it became 60. In 30 days, I wrote this book. I wrote it in 30 days. Every single day, I would go in and I would write about the day because I was so deep into depression, Omari, that people didn't know. And thank God for David, man. That man got beat up with me over this year. Y'all need to go hang out with your boy, take him out the house, hang out with him.
And David's your husband?
David's my husband. Yes, sorry, David's my husband. But thank God, and thank God for him, and thank God for our long relationship. So he knew so much. Yeah. But the part that I think was, for me, the most hurtful part is like, I wasn't there for my mom's death. You know, that was robbed from me. I remember when you went to go see your dad and you made it just in time. Yeah. And I remember that. I didn't get that opportunity. And it wasn't because I was late. It wasn't because I lived in Seattle. It wasn't because I was in the middle of films. You know, it was a choice that was made. You know, and that choice that was made was very hurtful, not just for me, but other siblings too that were cut out of it. And ain't nothing I can do about the past. So I had to write it out, right? I'm, you know, freshly about to walk into a new chapter of my life in 2026. And I didn't want to walk into there with anger and hate in my heart. You know what I mean? Because that hate is the exact opposite of who I am. My real name is Kekila. That's a Swahili name, and it means I love you. And so when I'm penetrating hate in my heart, my work wasn't good, right? I was, you know, getting into fights with my students, things that never happened before. And there was quite a bit of people trying to take advantage of that emotional, me going up and down in my emotions. And so that was the reason why I wrote this book, because my pain is purpose for somebody else. And I had to make sure that I was real and I was honest about what really happened.
And we should let readers know that you really are very real, very honest, and very, very raw in this book. I mean, I say that because it's commendable to expose yourself like that. It's one thing when you're talking to family or friends or even a closed group or something, but like, this is a book that's available to the world.
It is.
And you know, you really show your vulnerabilities. And being so raw and honest.
And in chapter 11, Omari, the one I keep trying to, I want you to go to that chapter. In chapter 11, at the end of the book, it's about it's the rawest chapter in the book. It's the pivot. It's the climax of the book. At the end of it, I added, because I did it, so like your dad, my mom was a big storyteller. She never did it professionally, but she was one of the best storytellers I knew. And so I would record her voice all the time, like the last 10 years. And I'm like, Mom, one day you ain't gonna be here, I need your voice. I knew it, right? I knew I would need her voice. At the end of chapter 11, I put her voice there, so she said, you gotta tell the truth. I don't care what it is, when things happen in the family, you gotta tell the truth, and you're my truth teller. And so I added that to the end of chapter 11. I also forgave my siblings as well. I forgave them in this book, because how am I going to help people or businesses get through crises if I can't forgive?
Man, hurt people hurt people.
Hurt people hurt people. And healed people, we heal people.
This was an outcome of the sadness around your mother's passing. But do you feel that her passing is going to propel you beyond this book? Has it motivated you for more? And before you answer, can I share something with you?
Please.
So all of these cameras that you see here, this is a Blackmagic studio. These are Blackmagic 6K cameras. When we transitioned from the protest, we transitioned into these cameras right here, and I was like, oh man, they're too complicated for me. They're too this, that. And for years, for almost 4 years, I was scared to ever even touch these cameras. I'd already just talked myself out of it. Oh man, these things are too different. We got a raw footage, color grading, this and that. I'm cool. I'll just use my iPhone. And so my dad passed May 2nd in 2023, and we were just going into the launch of Back to Basics. There was All Star that was coming, and we worked All Star, blew that up, launch Basis show, and it was nonstop. And so a few days after All Star, I'm sitting down, and I'm like, yo, man, this is crazy. We killed it. Let me call my dad. And I remember right there, that's when it hit. Even though I was there, I held my father's hand when he passed away. I was there. He took his final breath. But it didn't hit me until like in late June or in late July when I was like, oh man, I can't wait to tell him about this. And I was depressed, man, for a few days, and I thought about it. I said, my daddy said, tell better stories. And I went to Glazer's. I bought me a Blackmagic and a whole kit. And I remember, I think Basic was there at barbecue. We went to Aya's house, and I told everybody, I said, look, I got this camera, I got a backpack, I got whatever. And I just went on the road. And I learned the camera. You know what I'm saying? This was years ago now, 2 years ago. I learned the camera. I would shoot anything. I'd tell people, like, man, I'll shoot anything. You got a birthday party, bar mitzvah, whatever. Just let me shoot. I just want to shoot. I just want to learn. I want to learn. And to think that, like, now, I shoot a lot of stuff. Back to Basics. We shoot documentaries. We shoot stuff on broadcast TV, stuff that goes into the arenas and everything else. But it took my dad dying for me to get over my fear of the camera and putting it back in my hands. And I got a long ways to go, but like that's what propels me every day. It woke me up in the middle of the night. It said, son, tell better stories. And getting that camera. So I know it's kind of a longer story, but what are some of the outcomes? I
couldn't agree with you more, and I the tears are coming just because it's so real. And I remember when you lost your father, and I remember just that whole time. What I would say, one question I want to answer, you said earlier, like, because you're right, I'm putting it out there to the world. But in the Amazon book, we changed the names, we gave people alias, and my whole life has always been public. I never had a chance to like hide from things. As you know my story, like 20 years ago, I was facing time in prison, fresh out of college, first generation college graduate, and I was going to federal prison. So I never had a chance to hide. I was a journalism student, and the same mentors had me on the news the next day, exposing me. So I'm thankful for that happened to me in my 20s because I'm not afraid to be who I am. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, you either take it or you don't. And that's what I tell people very directly. So to be very straightforward with you, I am a much better storyteller since my mom passed. I hear her voice too at night. And for a moment there, I thought, like, am I going kind of like Lulu? What's going on? But one of the things that happened to me, and I'll be quick with this one, after she passed, every single thing I desired, such as being on the film commission, I thought that would never happen. I was just recently promoted to the senior vice president of SABJ, hoping to be able to be the president in 2027. Natus reelected me again. I said, what, y'all reelected me? They said, yep, you reelected again. And so what that told me is what you said earlier. Everything, when she passed, everything was just around film and journalism. And then so I just heard voices drop anything else that's not film or journalism, period, drop it on his head. And that's what I started doing. I started dropping stuff like it was hot. So I think 2026 will be my bust out year because this year was hard, but it was good too. Please don't think the grief means that I'm sad or anything like that. You have to get through the grief.
I mean, the thing is this is 2025. Mm-hmm. My oldest brother, Herm, he's been gone for 20 years.
Yeah.
And 2 decades later, you know, I mean, and this is a whole nother story for another time, but this is why our show, We Live in Color, is so special and everything like that. And Deontay Damper, I tell you, is dedicated to my brother, who we never met. But
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So my brother, Herm, man, you know, he came out in the 80s. And, man, no matter what people tell you, it was crazy because in the 80s, black people didn't accept you because you was gay, and then Capitol Hill didn't accept you because you was black. There wasn't no resources, no nothing. That's how organizations like POCAN and all these other things came about. My brother passed away from complications of HIV/AIDS on January 5th, 2005. You know what I'm saying? And so the show We Live in Color, it would not be on air. And it's so fantastic because I get to still 20 years later, I get to say my brother's name. And he would be so proud now of like what's there. What I say is like, grief don't leave us. You know what I'm saying? We learn how to manage it. And I always, even now, I feel emotional talking about my brother Herm, but it's a good feeling because that means it has never left me. You know, in 20 years, it's never left me, and his presence only grows greater and stronger in this studio. We're getting ready to launch We Live in Color season 4 pretty soon. You know what I'm saying? And it would blow my brother's mind. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, keeping that piece of our dearly departed with us and in our heart, and being able, and it manifests itself in such an amazing way if we know we keep that little bit of emotion with us. You get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because, you know, sometimes like being a crisis manager, just being KD, period, you know, a lot of times I was just very professional, very structured, trying to get it done. But man, since she passed, I can't help but to put the emotion out there and put it in it, you know, and that's why I wrote the book, Omari, because there's a lot of Omaris out there and there's a lot of KDs out there that needs to read this book. And there's like reflections and questions throughout to help you navigate. Like,
that's what I was going to ask you, is like, what do you feel are some of the main takeaways for someone when reading this book?
You know, for one, there's music throughout it. And for black folks, we love music.
Hello.
You know, no matter you in Seattle or Detroit, you know what I mean? You love music. And so music is throughout the book. Every time you click on a QR code, it goes directly to that artist, Spotify, and give them points. Because, you know, like you, I care about a collective uplift, not just a KD uplift. And so I wanted to make sure every single artist in there was highlighted in that sense, and it goes with the chapters. Each chapter at the end gives you tools to be able to work through a midlife crisis or a crisis at your organization. As we see, there's a lot of crisis happening right now. And it's going to happen naturally, right, when there's changeover in political offices. And so I use the same tools I used to get Bellevue College out of their crisis, to get Casalantina out of their crisis, all these organizations that people don't even know that I worked in, because, like, to your point, being multipotent, I don't tell people everything I do because then they think I'm scattered. But this book gives real tools that people have paid $200,000 a year for me to be able to help their organizations, and I put those tools in this book for $34.99.
Yes, I guess some of the biggest crises we'll ever face are the crisis of our heart and of our soul. You know, I mean, when we talk about crisis management, and, you know, we've been through some crises here too. When we go talk about crisis management, it's of infrastructure and business and things like that, which is clearly important. They need to get out of crisis.
Yep.
But it sounds like your book is helpful for people that are experiencing crisis of the heart.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you know what? Oh, when your father passed, you still had to do films, right? And so that is people like you and me. It is of our heart, but like if our heart is not in order, we can't do our professional right. You know what I mean? And that's the reason why I did it, to be honest with you.
It's fantastic. Now, how much is this book, and where can people get it?
So you can go to Amazon. So we get those Amazon numbers up. It's $34. Omari, thank you for sponsoring my book launch, my very first one here at Converge in December. I hope people come out. It's free, but the books, you can go to Amazon or you can go directly to Katie Hall Foundation. With Amazon, we love it and we want the numbers. However, Amazon does take 50% of the profits. Right now on the back end, I'm trying to talk to their leaders like, hold on now. You know me. But, you know, at the same time, it's good to be on Amazon.
Right.
And, you know, if you pay through the foundation, then 100% of the profit goes to the foundation. Mm-hmm. And I'm dedicating the first 500 books to keep Katie Hall Foundation alive because, like everybody else, we're in financial crises as well.
Right. Well, I would say this is that, you know, seeing your work over the years, we covered a lot of work. You know, even your work around sickle cell. Basis covered that.
Yes, yes.
The last few years. You know, it was her birthday yesterday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Besa.
Happy birthday, Besa.
But, you know, we've been able to see it, you know, firsthand, your actual work and the work of the Katie Hall Foundation and the other things that you're doing in community. And I think one of the best things about you and where we have a lot of similarity is that, like, you be trying to open the door. Like, you'll call me and be like, nah, you should attend this. That's something you might want to do. Here's an opportunity for you. And we find that that's really rare, especially in this city, unfortunately, but just generally speaking. And I want to acknowledge you directly for always reaching back, constantly reaching back, and you're pulling people forward with you. And that's really dope, Katie.
I appreciate you, I really do. When I first met you, I knew I liked you over the phone, and it was around Sean Kemp, and I was like, I like this dude. You know what I mean? Let's figure out how we could work together. And I think me moving to Florida slowed us down, but I'm back. And back. I appreciate you, and I don't look at it as reaching back for you. I feel like you are from here, and I feel like you should be on all those platforms, period, point blank, because you're bringing people forward. You know what I mean? Black people forward, and that's important. And you don't hold out against anybody else. You bring Asian people forward. You bring white people forward. But you stand 10 toes down that this is about black media. And I can't help but to mess with that.
Yeah, fam. I'm glad you messing with it. and before we wind this down, I could tell people that it's like this book has a happy ending, but it's deep and it's real though. And that's the thing is that in an ever virtual, augmented society that we're moving towards, this is real, this is raw, but this is also about transformation, and that's what makes this book very important and has some takeaways to it. So Katie Hall, before we let you go, that's your camera right there.
Yay.
We're gonna let you tell everybody all about it and what you want them to do.
Yeah, so thank you, Omari, and thanks for this being a Veterans Day special. My husband's a veteran, and we have a veterans copy coming out in January, so we're gonna be at the military bases, which is where loss happens the most. We have a children's edition, which is a cartoon. Our Braille will be out in January. It's a sensory-based book, and we want to be able to touch everybody. I don't want nobody left out. If you need Braille, hey, you can fill the book. If you have ADHD, like I do, and like my daughter do, that's why the music's in the book, because you need to do more than one thing. Join us at Converge on December the 5th at 7 p.m. My brother, Omari, is actually going to be shooting that for us, but more important than that, he's also sponsoring. He didn't have to do that. And so that's all I got to say. Go to Amazon, Sacred Paws, Katie Hall, go to Katie Hall Foundation, and don't forget to donate to Converge Media, because this is where black media happens at in our city, and black media matters, and we have to be able to pay to play.
That's right. The most important takeaway, donate. No, it's a pleasure. We're looking forward to December 5th. And man, see, you're a no. See, Paul Sanders, he's a don't know. But for the no's, they know how we transform this studio, huh?
Oh yeah, I know.
You
I
was
remember.
Here for my first yeah, it's the club. Katie Hall, thank you so much for joining us. And again, I encourage everybody to support you to get the book. You know what I'm saying? If for yourself, and if you're in that great space and you haven't really experienced grief and loss, man, God bless you, and and keep you. But all of us know somebody who's gone through something, and so even if the book's not for yourself, it very well might make a very good gift for someone that is going through it right now and dealing with grief and loss and looking to find their way back up. And so, Katie Hall, thank you very much.
Thank you, brother.
All right. We're going to take a quick break right now. The director is like, man, bro, you were supposed to break a long time ago. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to wrap it up. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Here on Back to Vesa, it's always been important to me that we uplift stories from across the region, and that no matter where you live in the nation, you never have to miss a moment of the show as we continue to highlight the beauty, excellence, and resilience of our communities across the Pacific Northwest. Why? Because representation matters. So no matter where you live, be it the Central District or Centralia, Portland or Pullman, or anywhere across the country, I encourage you to join me on this Back to Vesa journey by downloading the free Fox Local app on your phone or smart TV as we continue to elevate the very best in our communities.
Hello, welcome to Elite Insights with Carlos Imani. We're looking to offer an in-depth look at event production industry through the lens of client experiences and joint successes. The podcast will emphasize guest interviews, focusing on client discussing their fields and reflecting on their collaboration with Elite Collective. Again, you're with Elite Insights. Carlos Imani here. See you guys in a few.
Like a warm cup of tea, coffee, or your favorite bowl of soup, Washington Health Plan Finder is here for you. Whether you're exploring your options or need help finding a health insurance plan that meets your needs, you can count on us. Visit wahealthplanfinder.org today. Open enrollment begins November 1st and ends January 15th, 2026.
All right, welcome back to The Day with Trae. I am your guest host, Omari Salisbury, and we've come to the conclusion of another fantastic episode. Big shout out to my girl, Katie Hall, and big congratulations on her new book. Man, y'all got to make sure and pick that up for hella different reasons, you know what I'm saying? But, man, be supportive, like all the way around. It's important, and, Katie really made herself very vulnerable in this book, and vulnerable around the issues not only of grief and loss, which ultimately all of us will encounter, but other sub-issues as well, you know what I'm saying, and family and things like that, and how families deal with grief and being able to come back together and build yourself up and move forward, but also moving forward, not forgetting our loved ones, but being able to manage that grief and turning that grief into purpose. And I think that that's something that I really take away from the conversation today with Katie Hall, was how this has been a process from losing her mother to grieving her mother, running into trauma around that grief, managing that grief, and then turning that grief into purpose. And so, like, if you've never met Katie Hall in person or anything like that, like, one, you get the book, but if you ever see her about at different things or events or speaking somewhere, you see she's speaking, man, you might want to, like, be intentional about being there and meeting Katie Hall, because it's like, this is a dynamic woman, 100%, for sure. So look, we're going to get out of here. Again, big shout out to my guy, Ara, you know what I'm saying, my luxury tunic that he tailored for me when I was there in Lagos, Nigeria. Man, hope to be back there in about a month and everything else. And just to let you know, I know today is Tuesday, it's Veterans Day. And again, we're thankful there. I'm back tomorrow, and then Thursday and Friday I got off. But then I'm back again the following week as well. So you ain't gonna get rid of me that easy. And with that, I'll tell you, go forward with your purpose, go forward in your humanity. Until tomorrow, peace.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.